Imagine a young, ambitious entrepreneur named Carl. He was obsessed with the idea of productivity. To him, every waking minute needed to be filled with some kind of progress, whether it was working on his business, learning new skills, or planning his next big move. He'd scroll through social media and see countless influencers preaching the hustle culture. Wake up at 4 a.m., never take a break, grind every single day. Carl took these messages to heart and pushed himself harder than ever. He started waking up before sunrise, spending his mornings planning, and then diving straight into work, answering emails, making phone calls, managing his team. During breaks, instead of resting, he'd squeeze in quick courses or motivational videos. At night, when his friends would invite him out or his family wanted to spend time together, he'd decline, convinced that every minute away from work was a minute wasted. At first, it seemed to pay off. His business was growing and his productivity was through the roof. But something else was happening that Carl didn't see coming. He began to feel constantly drained, mentally, emotionally, and physically. Despite putting in more hours than anyone else around him, he wasn't truly happy. He'd catch glimpses of himself in the mirror. Tired eyes, unkempt hair, and a constant sense of anxiety gnawing at him. One evening, Carl was working late yet again. His desk was buried under piles of papers, his phone buzzing nonstop with notifications. He leaned back, rubbing his temples, and for the first time, he truly asked himself, "What am I doing all this for?" He remembered the nights he used to spend laughing with friends, the mornings when he didn't dread getting out of bed. The passion that once fueled him had turned into a relentless grind, and it was taking its toll. Desperate for answers, Carl decided to take a rare break and stumbled upon a podcast that changed everything. It talked about the slow movement, an idea that productivity isn't about doing more, but doing what matters with intention and purpose. The host spoke about how burnout doesn't come from hard work alone, but from working without balance. Intrigued, Carl started digging deeper. He learned about famous visionaries like Steve Jobs, who took long walks to think creatively, or Bill Gates, who dedicated time to reflect and strategize. Carl realized that being intentional with time was far more powerful than constantly grinding. He decided to change. The next day, instead of his usual frantic routine, he sat with his morning coffee, just sitting, not scrolling or planning. It felt strange, almost uncomfortable, but also liberating. Carl began to prioritize his tasks, not by how much he could squeeze into a day, but by what truly made an impact. He set boundaries: no work after 8 p.m., social media detoxes on weekends, and regular downtime to reflect and recharge. The results were astounding. His productivity skyrocketed, not because he was working more, but because his mind was sharper, his ideas clearer, and his motivation renewed. His relationships healed as he made time for people he had neglected. Carl finally understood that success didn't have to come at the cost of his well-being. Real productivity wasn't about sprinting nonstop. It was about pacing himself to go the distance. Today, Carl's story serves as a reminder. The real secret to success isn't about pushing harder or faster. It's about moving with intention, giving yourself time to breathe, and finding balance amid the chaos. Don't let the pressure to always hustle steal your peace. Learn to work smarter, not harder, and you'll see the difference, not just in your career, but in your life as a whole. Don't forget to subscribe if you're ready to challenge your mindset and see the world in a whole new way.